Hello. Welcome to my other show. My name is Susan Rushton, and this is Muse. This is the show on which I get to talk to people who are visited by the Muse, which means creative people of all stripes. And today, the people of this stripe are musicians. These are the four people, the four guys in the Broke College Kid Sax Quartet. And if you visit the farmers market in Auburn, two weekends out of the four every other week, I've seen you several times there.
Yeah, well, we don't play that often, but
Okay.
over break, we'll be playing, for example, in a few days on Saturday.
Oh, excellent.
So,
And this is January 2016. So we have Janos Zontos?
Chontos.
Chontos. Okay, baritone saxophone. And
That's
this
right.
is your group, right? Essentially, you lead
Well,
this group?
I would
You-
say it's our group. But,
It's
yeah.
okay. It's the group,
uh-huh.
and my impression has always been that you're the spokesperson.
I do book all of our gigs, and I organize and I communicate with people. But we all have equal weight in
Yeah,
saying
excellent.
what kind of if we want changes in the group to happen, or if
Okay.
for what music we play and stuff like that.
Great, Janos
Chontos.
Chontos.
It's
Chontos.
difficult, it's okay.
And you play baritone saxophone.
That is correct.
All
I play
right.
sax in this group.
And I have also Chad Deacon.
Yes, that's me.
And what do you play, Chad?
I play the tenor saxophone. It is slightly higher than the baritone saxophone.
And slightly smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. And Will Egley?
Yeah, that's right.
Egley, you play the alto saxophone.
Yes, I do. It's
And I don't know why I would have assumed that an alto saxophone is gigantic and certainly bigger than a baritone, but no, it isn't. Okay, and let's see, Chad. No, C.J. Freeman, soprano and alto saxophones.
Yeah,
And what do you
alto.
have in your hand?
This is an alto, and this is a soprano.
Okay, the soprano is the small one.
Yeah.
Okay. So why saxophones? What is there about saxophones that attract you guys?
Well, I'm sure we'll all have different answers for this, but for me, my answer is actually kind of boring. I feel like a lot of people have a really interesting way that they started playing saxophone, or they had something that really drew them to it, and it was kind of random for me. I was choosing between, I think, trumpet, trombone, and saxophone. Saxophone was always my top choice. That was back in 5th grade when I started in, I guess, elementary school band. And I just chose saxophone, and I got lucky. I think it's the best instrument for a lot of different reasons. Of course, I'm biased, but I could not be happier that I chose this instrument. I could go on for hours, which I will not bore you with the details of why I love this instrument. But
You couldn't possibly bore me.
but I am very happy I chose this, and I really love the saxophone community.
Why do you like why the saxophone though? You said you had several choices, but you chose the saxophone.
I don't know. I literally just don't know. I just thought it was a cool instrument. That's my very boring answer to that question.
It ain't boring, buddy. Okay. What about Chad? Why did you choose the saxophone?
Well, I wanted to do band when I was in 5th grade, but the only instruments were flute, clarinet, trombone, and trumpet. So I got put on clarinet, and then in the 6th grade, my uncle gave me a saxophone, and I wanted to be
Another
cool.
reed instrument.
Yeah, another reed instrument. It's
Thanks,
like,
Uncle.
yeah. So my uncle played saxophone as well,
Ah.
and flute, and he's a musician as well. So I just thought it would be a really cool instrument to play. You know, when I thought of a cool instrument in band, it would be saxophone, not like trumpet or something. So.
Ew, a trumpet. Okay. So that's a cool instrument. Will, what about you?
Well, basically the same
It's a
reasons.
cool instrument,
Yeah,
Susan.
it's a cool instrument. But my aunt plays pretty much every woodwind. She actually gets a new one every 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I had a bunch to look through, and this just seemed the most interesting. You know, it's got all the wires and buttons. So, I don't know.
Wow.
It's cool.
Wow.
And,
Okay. And CJ.
My mom played clarinet, and I didn't really want to do that, but she knew this was kind of similar with the reed and everything, so just kind of went with that. Yeah.
Why two instruments? Why do you play two instruments?
Mostly because the group needs it.
Okay.
Else I'd just play one, preferably.
Okay.
But there's timbral differences between these two. They can produce a different sound. This one, the soprano, obviously, can work in a register the alto can't, and so it just expands what we're capable of doing. So.
All right. Soon I will ask you to play a little for me, but I want to know I saw you playing a year and a half ago the first time at Farmers Market, and I've been trying to get you together to join me on this show for a year and a half, and you guys are busy people.
I'd say so.
You are broke college kids, which means you go to school. Where do you go to school?
I go to school. Chad and I are actually roommates at University of the Pacific, down in Stockton, California.
So you came up from Stockton today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we were up here for winter break, so it was
Okay.
we didn't have to travel too far, which was nice.
Good. Okay. So you're both at Stockton
University of the Pacific.
Okay. Okay. UOP. And Will, where are you?
I'm at Sierra right now,
Okay.
and I've got one semester left there, after
And-
which I'll probably be going to Sac State, but I'm not totally sure about that yet.
And majoring in music,
Uh,
perhaps.
Perhaps. I kind of think I'm going to do a minor, but I'm
Okay.
still being worked out too.
Okay. And CJ,
I'm a graduate from Sac State. I graduated with my bachelor's.
you're an old man.
I'm the old
Compared to
one.
us, I guess, yeah.
Yes. I graduated May of 2014. I
Okay.
started grad school that fall, but I'm just on a break right now. So I teach privately in the area, playing like the Folsom Symphony, Auburn Symphony.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
You play for the Auburn Symphony. AuburnSymphony.com. AuburnSymphony.com. And the Folsom Symphony.
And the Sierra Nevada
the same,
Winds.
the same
Yeah.
conductor.
Peter Jaffe.
Aren't you lucky?
Yeah.
Isn't he? Aren't we? Thank you. And speaking of the Auburn Symphony, Janos, you have been a star with the Auburn Symphony.
Yeah.
Briefly, but a star. Are you continuing to play?
Yeah,
them?
I'll actually be playing. So I was feel very fortunate that I won the Auburn Symphony Young Artist Competition. That was almost a year ago. It was in February of 2015. And there was a lot of other great competitors, all the more reason that I feel very humbled to have won that. But the prize for that was being able to play a concerto with the Auburn Symphony. So, and Peter Jaffe, it's kind of funny, very coincidental that he's also the conductor of the Stockton Symphony down where I go to school. So we were actually able to meet up there, and, and he could hear me play, and we could talk about it before I went and played with them. And I'll actually be playing with them again on March 5th. In a concert here at Placer.
Excellent.
So that should be a lot of
March
fun.
5th, 2016. AuburnSymphony.com. Okay, I would like, excuse me, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's fabulous that we have young musicians and old musicians. So I have asked you to have your instruments out so I could just hear how they sound in next to each other.
Yeah.
So Janos,
Should I start out?
please do a little bit of noodling with your baritone.
Right, so this is a baritone saxophone. It's, of course, the lowest of the four. It's probably at least half my height. It's very large.
Yes.
And it can go down, of course, the lowest, and I'll demonstrate a little bit. That's sort of the full normal range of the instrument. Sort of provides the bass for the whole quartet. So.
That's the full range for the
for
of the
full normal
instrument.
range of the instrument.
Okay.
It's just that little scale right there.
And it provides a bass.
Yeah, that's
for
usually
for the group.
Yeah, that's sort of my function in the and the traditional function of especially the kind of literature we play is just sort of providing a bass line, and so I'll often a lot of the time be imitating a walking bass or just some other providing the root of the chord.
A walking bass.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's just like some sort of a term jazz players
This is
use.
an example of the kind of question that I didn't tell you.
Well, yeah,
What's a walking bass?
That's fine. Well, walking bass is like your traditional sort of jazz bass line, like dun 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 dun.
Okay.
You know, you imagine someone playing it
Yes.
on a string bass.
Yes.
And I just do the same thing, or I try to at least, on the bari sax. Of course, I do have some melodic content as well, but mostly I'm just playing bass line stuff.
Okay. All right. And Chad,
Yes.
let me hear a little bit of your tenor.
All right.
Get out of your way.
All right. So this is the tenor saxophone. It's pretty unique. Size comparison, yeah.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller, and it's the only one I think with a curve in its neck, so it goes up and around. Yeah. I'll play a little bit.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, so I mean, when most people think of saxophone, they actually think of the tenor saxophone, the shape at least. So I think it's a pretty iconic member of the four saxophones.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
And I kind of hold one of the middle voices in the sax quartet, which is not often the most heard, because the outer two voices, the baritone saxophone and the soprano saxophone, are usually the two voices that are heard the most. And then I kind of provide the inner harmony. Me and will usually provide the inner harmony of the quartet.
Okay. And speaking of Will, let's hear your alto.
All right, so yeah, I play the alto, next step up from the tenor.
Yes.
And this is the one that most people will start with, because it's the most basic and probably cheapest, and I don't know. So here we go.
You made Cody, the studio tech, very happy.
That was appropriate.
Well, that's actually one of the songs we play as a group.
Yeah.
Excellent. What was that?
That is the Cantina Band, sometimes called Intergalactic Rag from Star Wars, Episode 4.
Oh, yes. That's what we heard here at the beginning, right? In that bar?
Yes.
Yeah, when they walk in.
Okay, the bar with all the creatures in it.
And the weird space instruments. Yes.
Okay, and CJ, what is again? That's
So
the baritone.
This is an alto. It's
Alto.
the same thing that Will's playing on. So it sounds the same. It's more of a mellow sound, easier to blend, I feel, with the other saxophones because it is like the staple. It's the one that's most consistent of the four.
It's more mellow. Yeah.
Then the soprano, I like to think of it as kind of a cross between like the oboe and the clarinet. It's got more of that kind of abrasive nasally quality, kind of sticks out a little bit more, but it's still part of the saxophone family and like I think has a very distinct sound. So.
Oh, that's lovely. Uh-huh. Tell me about the tyranny of the reeds.
Tyranny. Oh, goodness. Well, reed players
Is there
like
such a thing?
I don't think. I love the saxophone. I just wish it didn't have such a fussy, inconsistent part of the instrument like a reed. So here, I'll take mine off for a second. So this is over 100 years of engineering, and we still can't think of something better than a piece of cane to play on. There are plastic reeds too. Traditionally, they don't have as much potential to sound good as a pure cane reed like this. But a reed you see like this, takes about 4 years to make from starting to grow and then having to cure it and all that sort of stuff. And they're very inconsistent. I'm sure we could all agree that reeds are sort of the bane of our existence at times. But as a saxophone player, you just learn to work with it and how to play on reeds that aren't performing at their best and stuff like that.
How often do you, how often do you have to replace your reeds?
So I'm playing a lot, probably once a month, but I usually have like at least 3 going per instrument. So usually replacing that entire set once a month, maybe 2 months.
So once a month.
Yeah.
No problem.
Wait till you need hearing aids.
Yeah.
Once a week, you have to
Yeah.
replace the batteries.
Indeed.
So once a month, even though I'm sure you'd rather not, that's much less often than I expected.
Well, yeah, it depends how much you're playing on them too. I personally like to use, for alto, I'm playing a lot of alto saxophone right now with the classical music I'm playing. And I try and have 16 reeds in my cycle. And I will end up throwing one
16.
out. 16? Yeah, so I have 2 reed cases, which is a lot. And,
okay,
yeah.
I spoke too quickly.
Yeah,
All right.
and there's some people who would have twice as much as that even. So it just depends on what some people are, okay with playing with less reeds, and I just like to have more to choose from in case one of them craps out or something. But the advantage of that is that I have more to choose from, and I end up throwing one out about every couple of weeks or so, I would say.
Okay. Now tell me how you guys got together. How long have you been together? As the broke college kid sax quartet.
So we got together not last summer, but 2 summers before that. So it's been about 2.5 years. And I pulled this group together. These are the best saxophone players in the area that are my age that I knew of. So I shot them all a Facebook message or a text, and I said, it was sort of my first summer. My father lives over in Hungary, so usually I travel over to Hungary during the summers, but it was my first summer that I was not doing that, and so I didn't have much to do. So at the end of the summer, other than play and practice and stuff like that, and so I was like, wow, I want to walk out of the summer saying I did something. And so I thought, why not put together a saxophone quartet? Will and I have actually been in a saxophone quartet in high school before, and there were 2 different players with us, not Chad or CJ, because they weren't going to Placer at the time. So I knew Will had been a sax quartet, so I called Will up and Chad and CJ, and I said, you guys want to play at the farmers market, since my high school quartet had done that before. I was like, let's just do this, see how it goes. We ended up making quite a bit of money that first time, and we really enjoyed playing together. We rehearsed just a couple of times, cranked out a lot of new music, and we just stayed together ever since. And we've been playing together, of course, as you can imagine. It's kind of difficult since we all go to different universities, but whenever we get the chance, when we're back home here, then we'll get together and play. Mm-hmm.
And I heard Placer. I don't know why I thought that you guys were someplace else, but you're a Placer graduate?
Yeah, 3 of us are, except for Chad, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hope you're recognizing this. Placer. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Dave, right?
Dave Lawrenson.
Dave Lawrenson.
Yeah,
a shout out to Dave Lawrenson. Oh my. Yeah. What a kick. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And who is not the Placer graduate?
I'm not.
Where are you from?
I went to Bear River High School.
Well,
So that's
okay.
pretty close.
I will accept Bear River. Yes.
15 minutes up the road,
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Local people playing together and just having the time. Well, you're having the time of my life.
Yeah. I think we all.
Especially when I get to hear you at the farmers market. And I told you this. We shared this information right before we started taping that that I am there promoting Silver Screen the last Saturday of the month to promote the next Saturday. And so I'm there handing out Silver Screen brochures. And you guys were playing one of those Saturdays, and I got to hear you. And there was this 12-year-old boy, perhaps maybe 10, who was also listening to you and walking to the beat. It was thrilling to see this young person, young guy, enjoying the music as much as I was. And this was jazz, I'm anticipating, or swing, perhaps. So I have heard classical from you guys, and swing, and probably jazz. Do you have a preference?
Well, we sort of specialize in jazz and swing music. That's sort of what we do. But what are some of the classical things we play?
We have the Hungarian dances.
Yeah, we play
Pachelbel
some
canon.
Yeah, we play some Brahms and some Johann Pachelbel's canon, stuff like that. So, like you said, we play some classical stuff. And Chad and I have both arranged some stuff for the quartet as well. So we play like some video game music and pop music and stuff like that, and some of that people really enjoy it because there's sort of when you hear people playing music from your favorite video game, you're like, oh, that's so cool, and then they want to come and talk to you about it. So,
Tell me what is so important about music?
Oh goodness, someone else take this one. I gotta
Yeah.
think.
Why is music important?
I think it brings people together, like the four of us. We've gotten to do a lot of things together because of it, and also just the response we get from the public. People appreciate it. I don't think live music is really
And in addition to
substitute.
giving
There's
you
a
money.
substitute for it. And money, yes.
Sure.
Okay. How can you tell that they're enjoying themselves?
Well, how can you? I mean, they're dancing. You see a 10-year-old boy dancing, or
Yeah.
people love to. I mean, that's just the main thing. Like, especially little kids, just it's really. It's like of course, the money is nice, but music is a career too, and we do this so that we can have money to help advance our career and pay for expenses that are involved with playing music. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that just playing this is really fulfilling too, and is really obvious when you have like a whole crowd of people standing in front of you and just like these really just fascinated faces. Because I mean, you don't hear saxophone quartets playing out in the public.
No,
and
you don't.
sort of one of my missions as a saxophone player, particularly, is that the general public doesn't know they like saxophone quartet, but they like saxophone quartet, and I want to show them how awesome this ensemble is and how rich and beautiful it can sound. And I think that's part of our appeal, is that some of these people have never heard a saxophone quartet before. Probably a lot of people haven't, and when they do hear it, that's what makes them stick around and be like, "This is
Yes.
awesome."
I had never heard one.
Yeah.
And I had never I had never thought that saxophones could sound so elegant playing classical music.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume, of course, automatically that you guys would be great at swing or jazz, but Pachelbel's canon, that's lovely.
Oh, it was originally written, I think, for string quartet, right?
Yeah.
Or at least that arrangement.
Sure.
So it's pretty easy. The ranges of the cello and viola and violins are very similar to our four instruments, so it's fairly easy to bring it onto saxophone too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys like about performing? What are some of the benefits of performing?
Well, it's kind of like you said, and Jonas has said, that when you're just up there having a good time and there's people around you, you got a crowd watching and they're having a good time too. It's, just everyone's happy and,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really great because it's a way to share things that you can't really share with words, also, and it's it's just really fun. Especially the music we play is really fun. I mean, it's not super stressful because like I don't know. At school,
you know what
it's
you're doing.
At school,
yeah.
everything's more on the line when I'm like playing at a jazz festival with the jazz band. It's like everything's like everyone's judging you because everyone there like knows jazz really well, and it's kind of fun just to like forget all of the politics behind it and like
Definitely.
or not forget your technique, but not be so worried about it and just enjoy the music.
Pleasing people.
Yeah.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Do you all expect and hope to make your living playing music when you're out of school?
I would certainly say so. Yeah, that's.
Do you see that happening?
I think so. I think I was really scared, as a lot of people are before they sort of start to get into it, that I wouldn't be able to make a career out of this. I actually only decided I wanted to be a music major. I am a saxophone performance major, by the way. And
There is a major, saxophone performance major.
yes, well, just performance major,
Wow.
concentration in saxophone, or whatever you want to call it. But performance saxophone is what I am planning to do. And I think I took a class at my university. It was based around a book called Beyond Talent. I think the last name of the author is Beeching, I believe. And completely revolutionized the way I think about music. The whole thing is everything you need to be a successful musician besides playing your instrument well. And so it's like all the behind-scenes stuff, like which this quartet is a great way to practice this, I think, for all of us, is playing gigs and organizing those and communicating with people. And it's totally possible. And it's I think too many musicians go into this. Don't go into music, rather, because they think it's not going to be possible. But if you're a savvy musician and you treat it like a business, and you can get the best of both worlds, earning money and doing
And
what you
having
love.
a good time. Yes, good. Gentlemen, Janos Zontos.
Chontos.
Chontos. C.J. Freeman, Will Egley, and Chad Deacon, the Broke College Kid Sax Quartet. To get in touch with them, we didn't do this earlier, jpcsontos@hotmail.com or janospcsontos.wordpress.com. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I've had a wonderful time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
You're
Our pleasure.
welcome, and I will see you later.